Hey guys, welcome to the Defining You segment of the V Circle. I'm Deltra Williams, aka Lady D Enterprises, and I'm here with Vince B to talk about his new album, Forged in Fire, and then it's the live album on top of that. I see you have a whole look, Harpo, who this man? Who, you got the do-rag, you got the turtleneck, with the chains, you got the leather
That
jacket.
turtleneck. Yeah.
Turtleneck. So who is this here?
Metamorphosis.
Okay.
Metamorphosis. Just, you know, stacking on layers, I guess you could say.
Oh, you stacking on layers. So this new look. Who is this new look? Like, what happened for you to just decide? I'm not doing the glittery jackets. I'm not trying to be Michael Jackson. With the shoes, and I'm just I'm in all black now.
The glittery jackets may come back at some point. I just wanted to get more in touch with my roots. I'm from Oakland, California. I know growing up, my mom and, just a lot of different people, that I grew up around, they always talked about the Black Panthers and stuff like that. And I was just like, you know what? I'm from the Bay Area, and I feel like my whole messaging is about empowerment and truth. And, what's more empowering than Black Panthers? Now, we're not talking about Wakanda, right? But same thing even with that, even with Marvel, with Black Panther, is somebody that liberates their people and stuff. And so I feel like, that's more aligned with my roots and kind of what my music is ultimately about. And so thus you have it.
Okay, so that's where Viction came from. Like, how did that?
Yeah, so Viction was my first artist name. Mm-hmm. So it stems from the word conviction. So I was a huge fan of Akon and convict music.
Hey.
I was a huge fan of that. Shout out to Akon. And so, I was like, man, he got the convict. He used to always say that. And so I started looking up the word convict and then convicted. And then I was like, oh, conviction. And then obviously my name is Vince, started with a V. And I was told my name Vince means like victory or something like that. So I was just like, well, let me find something that's more meaningful to me. And so conviction, I was like, oh, my name's going to be Conviction. And I was like, nah, that's kind of corny. So I took the con out and left Viction. And then, that's what we started off with. Then it eventually evolved into, the Book of Viction and, the things that I've done now. And it's more so morphed into a mindset than a like split personality or something like that. It's more so when I say the Book of Viction, I'm meaning just the book of my strong beliefs, so.
Okay, so it's a mindset. It's not, I'm going to transform into, Vince B, like,
Yeah.
or Viction, or you can just separate the two. It's just you're Vince B, but Viction is the mindset.
Yeah, it started off very T.I. versus T.I.P.-ish, Eminem, Slim Shady-ish, but I felt like I'm Vince B. Like, I'm not a character. Like, okay. I'm who you see, what you hear in the music is, I feel like I'm probably even deeper in real life. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to kind of get away from the character thing, because a lot of times you see with a lot of artists, they get lost in the character. And then they find themselves a caricature of themselves, and the humanity gets lost in that. And I don't want to be a character. You look at Stevie Wonder, he's Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
You look at Michael Jackson, he's Michael Jackson. Justin Timberlake. The list goes on. Tupac Shakur, that's his real name. Now, people put the two in the pack, but that's his real name. But when you look at people, even when you look at like someone like Eminem, who had the Slim Shady thing, but if you look at Eminem, Marshall Mathers, he's still... Eminem is me. Slim Shady is the character, but my artist name and what I represent is me, Marshall Mathers. You're going to hear this music. So I think people kind of get lost in the character, and I wanted to make sure that we're not getting lost in the character.
Okay, because that's very, very important, because when we look at artists, we see, oh, okay, they have this name, and then when you meet them in person, it's like, oh, wait, you completely different.
Right.
And then they get lost in that, and then it's like, well, who am I? Like, who were you before you became famous and you stuck in that? And then it just is it's a disconnect from the
Right.
music, and so I'm glad that you're like, no, I'm Vince B, but this is a part of me,
Right.
so I really appreciate that, because you won't ever get lost.
Right.
You know who you are, you stand on it, you stand on business. So
Right.
a
Right.
lot of that